Benjamin Franklin's life lessons we should learn as soon as possible. Never ruin an apology with an excuse. When you offer a true apology, you are laying your sword at the feet of humility. But when you lace that apology with justification, it becomes poisoned, robbed of its power to heal. The greatest leaders admit fault without armor, because vulnerability builds bridges that pride can only destroy. Whatever is begun in anger ends in shame. A man consumed by fury cannot see the battlefield of life clearly. He swings wildly, striking friend and foe alike. Franklin knew that anger is the shortest path to regret, and those who lead by rage soon find themselves abandoned, carrying the heavy burden of isolation. Buy what you don't need, and soon you'll sell what you truly need. The siren song of unnecessary luxury drowns out the steady drumbeat of wisdom. Franklin warned that those who indulge every fleeting desire will one day find themselves shackled by necessity, pawning off pieces of their soul to pay for past foolishness. Empty your purse into your head, and no thief can steal your treasure. Invest relentlessly in your own mind, your character, your vision. Wealth built on possessions is fragile, but wealth built within yourself becomes a fortress. No recession, betrayal, or calamity can destroy. Franklin's life was proof that educated minds outlast all storms. Love your enemies, for they show you your flaws better than your friends ever will. True strength is not in crushing opposition, but in listening to their barbs, finding the shards of truth hidden inside. Your enemies are the unwelcome teachers you need most, carving sharper edges into your character with every wound. 3 faithful friends are worth more than a kingdom, an old wife, an old dog, and ready money. Franklin understood that loyalty, comfort, and security are the roots of happiness, not the hollow applause of crowds. Build a life anchored by steadfast people and sound resources, and storms will break against you harmlessly. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Every day you neglect preparation, you dig a pit for your own ambition to fall into. Success is never accidental. Franklin's meticulous planning was his secret weapon, and those who live without a blueprint for their dreams are destined to watch others build empires instead. You may delay, but time will not. While you hesitate, time sharpens its scythe. Franklin's clocks did not tick for the lazy or the undecided. Every second you waste is a second you will one day beg the heavens to return to you. In the end, regret tastes far bitterer than effort. If you wish to know the value of money, try to borrow some. Franklin reminds us that the respect others show you is often a mirror of your own financial wisdom. Those who treat money carelessly find doors closed and opportunities lost. Those who honor it find bridges built and futures secured. Beware of little expenses, for even a small leak can sink a mighty ship. It's not the tidal waves that destroy fortunes, it's the silent drip, drip, drip of unchecked waste. Franklin knew that small foolishness accumulates into catastrophe, and that true mastery demands ruthless attention to every tiny crack. Laziness travels so slowly that poverty overtakes it with ease. Dreams die not from violence, but from neglect. Franklin warned that a man who waits for inspiration will be overtaken by hunger long before hope arrives. Fortune dances with those who chase her relentlessly, not those who nap in her shadow. An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. Stocks may crash, empires may crumble, but a sharpened mind grows more valuable with every passing year. Franklin lived by the creed that education is the only investment immune to disaster, and those who pursue it reap compounding returns beyond imagination. Lie down with dogs, rise up with fleas. The company you keep will brand your soul. Franklin understood that proximity breeds infection. Choose companions who reflect the future you want, not the past you escaped. Walk among those whose ambition burns as brightly as yours, and fleas of mediocrity will never cling. Display too often your wife or your wallet, and you risk losing both. Franklin knew that what you flaunt invites predators. Guard your treasures with humility and silence. Those who advertise their riches or relationships too loudly invite envy, betrayal, and loss. True wealth flourishes quietly, out of reach of greedy eyes. Fatigue is the best pillow. A day spent in meaningful labor grants sleep the sweetness of a conquered battlefield. Franklin understood that a life of effort leaves no room for sleepless regret. He built his empire not on idle wishes, but on days so full of work that even rest felt like a victory. Those who trade essential liberty for a little temporary safety deserve neither. Freedom, Franklin taught, is forged in the fires of courage and kept sharp by sacrifice. Cowards who surrender their birthright for comfort will find themselves living in gilded cages, neither safe nor truly alive. Patience is the companion of ultimate power. Franklin moved through life with the slow certainty of the tide. The impatient man demands fruit before planting the tree, but the wise man knows that roots must grow deep before the harvest comes. In every endeavor, patience multiplies strength beyond reckoning. The first duty of every citizen is to question authority. Franklin's America was born from restless minds, refusing to accept the chains of tradition without scrutiny. Blind obedience is the death of a nation, just as blind obedience to your fears is the death of your soul. Question, challenge, rise. The wounds that hurt most are the ones that teach best. Franklin's scars were not badges of shame, but medals of wisdom. Pain, when faced with courage, becomes a forge for the spirit. Those who flee discomfort deny themselves the lessons only hardship can bestow. Having been poor is no disgrace. Remaining ashamed of it is. Franklin rose from obscurity by wearing his humble origins like armor. Poverty is a starting line, not a prison. Those who allow shame to weigh them down will never run the race that leads to greatness. Time is money. Every idle hour is a coin slipping from your grasp. Franklin saw hours not as passing shadows, but as gold bricks stacking toward destiny. If you would be rich in spirit, rich in purpose, and rich in wealth, then guard your minutes as fiercely as your fortune. Failure is not falling down, it is refusing to rise. Franklin found 100 ways to fail and called each one a stepping stone. The man who sees defeat as a dead end remains forever lost. The one who sees it as a detour carves new roads to triumph. Well done is better than well said. Words without action are empty echoes. Franklin admired those whose deeds shouted louder than their speeches. Success belongs to the doers, not the dreamers. The loudest voice in the room will never matter more than the quiet hand that builds empires. Most people die at 25 but aren't buried until 75. Franklin's tragedy was not death but wasted life. Complacency is the silent assassin of dreams. If you aren't growing, you're rotting. Choose every day to live fully, fiercely, or you are already the ghost haunting your own future. Life's greatest tragedy is that we get old too soon and wise too late. Franklin's wisdom came from a lifetime of noticing how youth wastes the very gifts it later aches to regain. Take heed now, sharpen your soul early, and you will not weep at the door of lost opportunity. One today is worth 2 tomorrows. Dreams deferred are dreams diminished. Franklin lived by the power of immediate action. The man who acts today, even imperfectly, will always eclipse the man who plans endlessly for tomorrows that never come. Start now. Build now. Live now. Better go to bed without dinner than rise with debt. Franklin understood that true hunger was preferable to the gnawing shame of owed promises. Pride yourself not on what you consume, but on the integrity you preserve. Debt is a prison. Frugality is a crown. At 20, the will reigns. At 30, the wit. At 40, the judgment. Franklin marked life's decades by the mastery of different powers. Youth burns with passion, maturity sharpens with cunning, and wisdom governs with balance. Know the season you are in, and wield its strengths with fearless precision. Never leave till tomorrow what you can do today. Procrastination is a thief that robs you while you sleep. Franklin's clock ticked mercilessly against delay. Act with the urgency of a man whose future hangs in the balance, because it does. Jump as quickly at opportunities as you do at conclusions. Franklin knew the tragedy of a man swift to judge, but slow to act. Opportunities do not linger like regrets. They vanish like mist under the morning sun. If you hesitate when fortune knocks, you may spend your life wondering what could have been. Lost time is never found again. Franklin's heart beat to the relentless march of time's drum. Every moment wasted is a treasure buried forever beyond reach. There is no vault, no machine, no prayer that can retrieve a squandered second. Treat time like the rarest currency on earth, because it is. Where there is marriage without love, there will be love without marriage. Franklin understood that unions without true affection are empty contracts. Relationships built on convenience crumble at the first tremor. Build every bond romantic, personal, professional, on a foundation of genuine passion, or watch them collapse into ashes. Haste makes waste. Franklin warned that speed without wisdom breeds disaster. Rushing blinds the mind and stumbles the hands. A task done once with thought is worth 1,000 done in reckless frenzy. Move quickly when needed, but never so fast that you forget where you're going. 3 may keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. Franklin's cynicism is a brutal reminder. Trust is rare and discretion is priceless. Loose lips build gallows. Guard your dreams, your plans, your vulnerabilities, for even the closest confidant may one day whisper your secrets to the world. Dost thou love life? Then do not squander time, for that's the stuff life is made of. Franklin saw life not as years, but as moments stitched together by choice. To waste an hour is to tear a hole in your soul's tapestry. Honor time, and life will honor you in return. Educate your children to self-control and upright reasoning, and you will abolish misery from their future. Franklin saw clearly that fortune favors those disciplined in youth. Teach mastery of emotion, of thought, of impulse, and you arm the next generation against poverty, against vice, against despair. Keep your eyes wide open before marriage, half shut afterward. Franklin knew that before commitment, one must inspect with ruthless clarity, but afterward, grace must prevail. Harshness after vows only poisons the well. Choose wisely, love deeply, forgive easily. We do not stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Franklin, even as he carved empires, never lost the spark of childlike wonder. Play renews the spirit. Those who abandon joy in the name of age will find their bodies aging faster than their years demand. Work as if you were to live 1,000 years. play as if you were to die tomorrow. Franklin's motto demanded intensity in every realm. Approach your labor with patience and your pleasures with abandon. A balanced soul knows both toil and delight and shrinks from neither. Contentment makes poor men rich. Discontent makes rich men poor. Franklin knew that peace is not a product of possessions, but of perspective. A man who craves endlessly will be forever impoverished, no matter his wealth. True richness lies in gratitude, in sufficiency, in savoring what is already yours. You will find the key to success under the alarm clock. Franklin rose before the sun and conquered hours others slept away. Fortune rewards the early, the prepared, the persistent. Every sunrise wasted in slumber is an opportunity given freely to your competition. A penny saved is a penny earned. Franklin understood that discipline in small things creates empires in large things. Wealth is not built in great windfalls, but in steady accumulation, in tiny acts of restraint and diligence, repeated without fail. Fear not death, for the sooner we die, the longer we shall be immortal. Franklin faced mortality with unflinching eyes. To live in fear is to die before your time. Embrace the finite nature of your days, and you will act with a ferocity that defies the grave. Be at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let every new year find you a better man. Franklin's wisdom echoes through the ages. Master yourself first, love others generously, and grow relentlessly. In this lies the architecture of a truly great life. Be slow in choosing a friend, slower in changing. Franklin prized loyalty as the rarest jewel. Trust must be earned cautiously, guarded zealously, and surrendered only with the greatest sorrow. Those who abandon true companions lightly will find themselves friendless when the winter winds blow hardest. When you are finished changing, you are finished. Franklin's creed demanded perpetual evolution. Comfort is the silent killer of greatness. Adapt, learn, expand, die and be reborn as many times as it takes, or else rust into irrelevance while the world races past you. When testing deep waters, never use both feet. Franklin preached calculated risk, not reckless abandon. Dare greatly, but with wisdom. Hedge your risks. Temper your leaps with preparation, and you will cross oceans while others drown in puddles. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Franklin knew that foresight saves fortunes. Prepare for hardship before it comes, and its sting will be but a whisper. Neglect preparation, and disaster will arrive like a hurricane tearing through an unfortified city. Happiness depends more on the inward disposition of mind than on outward circumstances. Franklin taught that joy is a fortress built from within. Riches may vanish, lovers may betray, kingdoms may fall, but the man who governs his own mind will reign unshaken amid the ruins. Be civil to all, sociable to many, familiar with few, friend to one, enemy to none. Franklin's diplomacy was his armor. Treat every soul with respect, but guard your intimacy fiercely. True friendship is rare. True enmity is a luxury the wise cannot afford. If a man could have half his wishes, he would double his troubles. Franklin understood that unexamined desire is a curse. Be careful what you chase. Pursue only what strengthens you, for the unchecked heart leads not to paradise, but to chains of your own making. Speak ill of no man, but speak all the good you know of everybody. Franklin lived by a code of generous speech. Words are arrows once loosed. They cannot be recalled. Let your arrows build bridges, not graves. To find out a girl's faults, praise her to her girlfriends. Franklin's humor veiled sharp truth. Flattery reveals where loyalty hides. In a world of masks and mirrors, the whispers of others reveal more than direct questions ever will. A house is not a home unless it contains food and fire for the mind as well as the body. Franklin knew that survival is not enough. A true home nourishes the soul. Build a life that feeds both your belly and your dreams. Security without liberty is called prison. Franklin feared cages more than he feared chaos. Safety bought with freedom is no bargain. Do not trade your wild soul for soft chains and call it peace. Instead of cursing the darkness, light a candle. Franklin believed in action over lamentation. Every complaint unaccompanied by effort is wasted breath. Be the one who stands up while others sit, who shines while others curse the night. If all printers were determined not to print anything until they were sure it would offend nobody, there would be very little printed. Franklin's rebellion was intellectual as much as physical. Speak your truth, not to please, but to set the world ablaze with necessary discomfort. Never confuse motion with action. Franklin scorned busyness without purpose. Many wear exhaustion as a badge while achieving nothing. Do not mistake frantic effort for progress. Move strategically, or not at all. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Franklin's simple rhythm forged extraordinary results. Discipline your hours. Discipline your mind, and the world bends slowly to your command. Do not trust your money to a person who delights in counting other people's money. Franklin warned against entrusting your fortune to those obsessed with appearances. True stewards of wealth are silent, discreet, and disciplined. Trust character, not counting. The woman who craves most for physical attention may often yearn more deeply for emotional connection. Franklin glimpsed the hidden hungers of the heart. Lust is easy. Intimacy is rare. See the soul before you see the body, and you will find treasure where others see mere flesh. Wine is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. Franklin savored life's small joys without shame. Celebrate beauty, laughter, and love, but never let them consume you. Joy is a companion, not a master. The heart of a fool is in his mouth, but the mouth of a wise man is in his heart. Franklin urged silence before speech, thought before noise. Wisdom listens longer than it speaks, and speaks only when it can shape the world for the better. There was never a bad peace or a good war. Franklin's skepticism of violence is a reminder that destruction always bears bitter fruit. Build whenever you can. Break only when there is no other way. We must all hang together, or assuredly we shall all hang separately. Franklin's grim humor spoke the truth of unity. In business, in dreams, in nations, division is death. Find your allies. Fight for each other. A slip of the foot you may soon recover, but a slip of the tongue you may never get over. Franklin knew the tongue is sharper than any sword. Guard your words as you would your life, for careless speech can burn bridges you spent decades building. The eyes of other people are the eyes that ruin us. Franklin knew the invisible prison built by seeking approval. Live not by the mirror of others' opinions, but by the lamp of your own conscience. When you chase applause, you lose yourself. When you chase purpose, you find eternity. Creditors have better memories than debtors. Franklin understood that financial carelessness breeds chains not easily broken. A debt once forgotten by the borrower remains a daily wound to the lender. Live your life owing no man anything but the debt of gratitude and honor. A false friend and a shadow attend only while the sun shines. Franklin's words cut to the marrow. Fair weather companions melt away in the storm. Test your friendships in hardship. Those who stay when the roof caves in are the ones worth building new homes with. There is much difference between imitating a good man and counterfeiting him. Franklin warned that pretense cannot substitute for substance. Many dress the part of virtue while inside they rot. Build your soul first. Your reputation will follow without effort or deceit. He that falls in love with himself will have no rivals. Franklin saw self-obsession not as confidence but as blindness. True greatness admires the world beyond the mirror. Humility is the secret key that unlocks admiration from others without ever having to demand it. A learned blockhead is a greater blockhead than an ignorant one. Franklin mocked the vanity of those who gather knowledge without wisdom. Education without reflection is like a well without water. Fill your mind not with clutter, but with clear rivers of understanding that nourish action. He that is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else. Franklin tolerated failure, but not self-deception. Excuses are the opiate of the mediocre. Trade every excuse for a small act of courage, and you will build an empire while others build pity parties. Being ignorant is not so much a shame as being unwilling to learn. Franklin never scorned those who lacked knowledge, only those too proud to seek it. Ignorance is curable, arrogance is terminal. Stay teachable, and the universe will pour its secrets into your open hands. We are all born ignorant, but one must work hard to remain stupid. Franklin's fire against complacency burns today. Every day you refuse to grow. You hammer your own coffin shut a little tighter. Choose the hard work of learning over the easy death of ignorance. He who multiplies riches multiplies cares. Franklin saw that money enlarges both power and pressure. The man who seeks only wealth builds a kingdom of endless worry. Pursue purpose first, and wealth will serve you instead of enslaving you. Life's tragedy is that we waste our health creating wealth, and then waste our wealth trying to regain health. Franklin warned that the cycle of foolishness consumes entire lives. Protect your vitality as you would your fortune, for without health, all other victories taste like ash. Pride that dines on vanity sups on contempt. Franklin despised arrogance in all forms. Those who strut upon small stages are mocked when the real kings appear. Let humility carve deep roots in you, or the first storm will tear your pride to pieces. Wise men don't need advice. Fools won't take it. Franklin knew that wisdom seeks truth eagerly, while folly rejects it even when delivered on bended knee. Surround yourself with wise counsel, and listen with a heart ready to change, or be prepared to sink under the weight of your stubbornness. The discontented man finds no easy chair. Franklin understood that dissatisfaction is a curse that follows its bearer from castle to cave. Comfort begins inside the soul, not in the softness of surroundings. Master contentment, and you master the throne within. Those who love deeply never grow old. Franklin's heart remained young because it never hardened. Love fiercely, passionately, vulnerably. Let your heart remain a living garden, even as your hair turns to snow, and you will outlive your years. An empty sack cannot stand upright. Franklin tied self-sufficiency to dignity. Without preparation, without resilience, you will crumple under life's weight. Fill yourself daily with knowledge, discipline, and courage, so that when the winds rise, you will stand like a pillar unshaken. Be slow in promising and but quick in performing. Franklin built trust not on words, but on unwavering action. Promise sparingly, deliver magnificently. Your reputation will become a fortress built stone by stone with fulfilled commitments. Glass, china, and reputation are easily cracked and never well mended. Franklin warned that damage to character, once done, leaves scars no apology can fully erase. Guard your name as fiercely as your life, for it is the one legacy you cannot rebuild once broken. No gains without pains. Franklin's work ethic was brutal and honest. Every inch of progress demands blood, sweat, and unyielding perseverance. Those who seek shortcuts find only cliffs. Embrace the grind, and the mountain will move for you. Tricks and treachery are the practice of fools who have not brains enough to be honest. Franklin held honor higher than cunning. Those who build their success on deceit walk on foundations of sand. The wise man wins by virtue, not by vice. The rotten apple spoils its companions. Franklin knew the power of environment. One corrupt voice can rot an entire company. One lazy spirit can infect a team. Choose your circle as carefully as a farmer chooses seeds. For bad company poisons great potential. Wink at small faults, for you have great ones yourself. Franklin's mercy flowed from self-awareness. Perfection is a myth. Judge less, forgive more, and you will find grace growing within your soul. The worst wheel of the cart makes the most noise. Franklin exposed the noisy pretenders who contribute little but clamor for attention. Listen not to volume, but to value. Quiet diligence outweighs loud mediocrity every single time. Each year, one vicious habit discarded, in time might make the worst of us good. Franklin's path to self-mastery was gradual but relentless. Do not aim for instant perfection. Wage a slow and merciless war on your flaws, and you will one day wake up armored in virtue. Great talkers, little doers. Franklin's disdain for hollow words echoes today louder than ever. Build your life with your hands, not your mouth. Silence your critics with results, not rebuttals. Leisure is the time for doing something useful. Franklin saw rest not as idleness, but as a chance to build unseen foundations. Use your leisure to sharpen your mind, deepen your spirit, strengthen your network. Idle pleasure is fleeting. Productive recreation is eternal. If passion drives you, let reason hold the reins. Franklin knew that fire must be harnessed, not extinguished. Let your dreams blaze hot, but guide them with the cool hand of logic. Without balance, ambition becomes a wildfire that burns down its own house. He that speaks much is much mistaken. Franklin loved the sharp economy of few words. Talk less, mean more. The world listens more closely to those who ration their wisdom carefully. Each word a precious coin. Many people die with their music still inside them. Franklin's greatest sorrow was wasted potential. Do not carry your gifts to the grave. Sing your song now, loudly, imperfectly if you must, but let it be heard before silence claims you forever. To lengthen thy life, lessen thy meals. Franklin lived moderation in all things. Gluttony dulls the spirit and chains the body. Discipline your appetites, and you will find yourself lighter, freer, more dangerous to the obstacles that stand before you. Be ashamed to catch yourself idle. Franklin despised wasted hours. Every idle moment is a theft from your own destiny. Work with purpose, rest with intention. Live so fully that idleness feels like a stranger in your house. When you're finished changing, you're finished. Franklin demanded endless evolution. Life itself demands it. Adapt or be crushed. Grow or decay. Rise again or rot beneath the feet of those who kept moving. There are no gains without pains. Franklin's favorite truth: hardship is not the enemy, it is the forge. Each scar is a medal of honor from the war for your dreams. The busy man has few idle visitors. To the boiling pot, flies come not. Franklin urged fierce, visible momentum. Move so fast, work so hard, that distractions flee before they can even land. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. Franklin knew that inattention to detail destroys dreams. Plug the tiny holes early, or drown in your own carelessness later. Anger is never without a reason, but seldom a good one. Franklin reminded us that rage almost always blinds. Feel your emotions, but govern them. Let anger be a spark for change, not an explosion of regret. Distrust and caution are the parents of security. Franklin taught that blind trust is the seed of betrayal. A wise man believes in the goodness of others, but verifies their actions with clarity. Protect your dreams with the vigilance of a sentry guarding the last torch of hope on a stormy night. He that is rich need not live sparingly, and he that can live sparingly need not be rich. Franklin's paradox speaks deep truth. True wealth lies not in excess, but in freedom from need. Master the art of living with little, and abundance will chase you like a loyal dog through the seasons of your life. A true friend is the best possession. Franklin measured success not by gold stacked high, but by friendships tested in the fire of time. Build wealth, yes, but treasure those rare souls who would walk through darkness beside you, even if all the lights of fortune go out. The doors of wisdom are never shut. Franklin's endless curiosity was his true crown. No matter your age, your station, your past mistakes, the door to a new beginning swings open to any hand brave enough to knock. Seek wisdom until your last breath, and you will never truly die. Energy and persistence conquer all things. Franklin's final command is the essence of greatness. Talent flickers, luck fades, but the relentless soul, the one who burns with tireless energy and unwavering persistence, bends the world to his vision. Be that unstoppable force. Build with sweat. Endure with fire. Win because you refuse to quit.